Came here to say who won it from the jump. Came here to say to get exactly what you want. Came here to say that you don't really want it with us. Yeah, we live, you know. We came here to say that you don't really want it with us. Yeah, the sports show.
Yerrr!
Yeah!
What is up, everybody? I am the voice of a generation, Pete Rosado, and we are back again with another episode of the Yerrr Sports Show. As always, joined at the top of the pyramid, 10K, 20K, 100K, the undisputed queen of the Yerrr Sports Show, Queen Tay. How are you?
I am furious, but I'm good.
Uh-oh.
You know, just ran into some technical difficulties in my apartment, but we here, we're queer, and we're ready to go.
Hey, listen, hell hath no fury like
Wait, what? What? Come on. Hey. Come on. That wasn't a we thing. Ladies and gentlemen, that wasn't a we thing. That was a she thing. That wasn't a we thing.
We're here. We're queer. We're a little queer. Everyone's a little gay.
I'm not agreeing to that.
That, you know what? I think that's a great tea time episode. We should table that for a tea time discussion. I think that's great. But for
I'm dressed like a Staten Island housewife.
Right. I also think you should be on the tea time, Pete.
I do want to get back
exactly.
And joining us at the bottom of the period, the pyramid, not the period.
We're here, we're queer, we're on our periods. Let's fucking go.
Oh, Jesus.
At the bottom of the pyramid, the man who is all he and no we. Big baby. What's up? How you feeling?
Oh, he no we.
Oh my God. I don't understand. You give Tay the greatest intro. You come down to me.
Oh, my face is turning red.
You come to me, one of your champions, Peter, and you just decided to disrespect me. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh, he no we.
I feel like that should be his motto for 2025.
I like that.
No we.
All he no we. Yo, I really hate the wintertime. My face turns red. I look 5 shades lighter. I'm like, help me, please, sir. May I have another?
Listen.
You see how red my nose is? This shit is wild.
And it's only going to get worse. Apparently, we are in the middle of the beginning of what is going to be a really crazy polar vortex coming in the next week. I don't think we're breaking 35.
I don't got no iron pills. I don't got no man. I don't got no coat. I don't got nothing.
Wait, what was that last one?
I don't got my iron pills. I don't got a coat. No, I said I don't got the iron pills. I don't got a man. I don't got a coat. I don't got nothing.
Oh, see, okay. Thank you for going back over that because I heard something else. I did not hear coat, and that's why I was like, wait, do we? I'm
not on no damn drugs, Peter. I've never done drugs in my life. I may have toasted weed here and there.
Weed is great.
I took an edible before, and I was high for like 4 days, but that's for another story.
So these edibles hit different nowadays.
Yeah, it hits different.
They're not the same.
Yo, last time I took an edible, I was stuck on the couch for like in slow-mo. I felt fucking slow. I was sitting there like I would laugh 5 minutes after or something. I ain't built for it.
All these people on the interwebs that are selling edibles, I just want to say you need to have instructions on your edibles. Because I'm letting you know, right? So here's what happened. A friend of mine on Instagram years ago, they would buy from an edible creator and supplier in the Bronx, and they were pretty popping on Instagram. Like a lot of people would post about them. And I was like, you know what? Pandemic was hitting, COVID hit, and things were shut down. I was like, you know what? Might as well. It was the COVID mania. That's why I remember it so well. It was the COVID mania. And I was in the house and I had gotten my little box of edible delivery. and I got a little pack of gummy bears. I mean, the pack of gummy bears was like this big. It wasn't that big. It wasn't crazy. And they were like the little mini gummy bears. So they were like maybe 10 or 12 of them in the little pack. That's how small it was. There were no instructions. There was no ingredient list.
Right. You don't even know what you're taking at that point. I bet you don't remember. I know one thing. You probably don't remember Mania.
No, I remember it. I remember it clearly. And here's the crazy thing, right? So I had all of the gummy bears that were in that bag, that little 10, little 12 gummy bears. Again, they were mini gummy bears, not even the size of the regular gummy bears. And I was like, okay, this is nothing. It didn't hit me. I didn't feel anything. I've been high before. I didn't feel anything. So I was like, yo, I'm good. Mania ends this was night one. About an hour later, I start feeling when my heart starts racing. My arm starts feeling mad tingly and weak. So at first I think I'm having a stroke.
They put heroin in it.
Yeah, I start going through like all the motions of like, am I having a stroke? Okay, let me do it. Like, do I have any weakness in my arm? All this other stuff. I'm water. That's what happened. I got high and didn't drink enough water. So I go and I get myself a big, huge thing of water. I'm drinking water. Still nothing. Long story short, I go to my mother at the time, still alive, God rest her soul. I go to my mother. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, yo, Mom, I think I need to go to the hospital. I think I'm having a heart attack. And she was like, what the hell happened? I told her what happened. She looked at me. She's like, first of all, see, that's what you get for getting edibles and not sharing with me. Secondly, you're going to be fine. Go to bed.
Guys, this is business. I got to take this.
Go ahead. And yes, that was just, please put ingredients, something on your stuff, because people's out here. I almost thought I was having a heart attack. Not fun. But I would order from them again though. It was good shit. Dre.
Sound like you had an enjoyable experience. That's what it was.
Yeah, that was it was interesting. It was very interesting.
The first time I had edibles was during the pandemic. Actually, it was the pandemic. No, I'm lying. It was before the pandemic, right? So my boy, not gonna say his name on air, but he was selling them, and I was like, you know what? I ain't never had them. I took a few pulls before, but I ain't never had no edibles. So I got the Oreo brownie edible that he was selling. I was like, all right, cool. This should be cool. It's just Oreos. Should be nothing. Took a couple bites. I was like, oh, this is nothing. So my bright ass said, you know what? I'm gonna take a couple more bites and then I'm gonna go to work.
Oh no.
This is when I worked at JFK. So
you worked overnight, right?
Yes, this was the time I worked overnight. Yes. At that time. So I got there. I'm prepping my flight, and all of a sudden, I just feel like like when a system just shuts down. That's how I felt. It just said, I was like, oh shit. So if you ever been to JFK out of the American terminal, you know that there's some moving escalators in Terminal 8, moving walkways in Terminal 8. I tell you, the moving walkways felt like the damn yellow brick road. It was the longest walk to my damn flight. I get on the flight, I'm like in front of people, and I kid you not, I'm damn near slumped. And the border patrol, a customs agent, looking at me like, "Hey, you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I didn't get enough sleep last night." Boy, I had my one of my other agents help me out. I'm like, please help me. And I got through that flight. My high was blown real quick because I was scared. But yeah, that's what I learned, to not ever do that before going to work.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Underestimate it.
I'm not gonna say their names, but if you're around the independent wrestling business, you know who I'm talking about. There's some great people with some great stuff out there. really safe stuff, really good people, just good people in general. Not only just the business side, but great people. And obviously, if you're around the independent wrestling world and stuff like that, especially in New York and the surrounding New Jersey area, y'all know who I'm talking about. Go to them for all your pain relief needs, all of that. They've got really great stuff.
Smacks NYC. It's okay.
Okay, there we go. We're gonna do it. Smacks NYC. Love them as people. Love them as what they do. Their pain relief cream is for real. I have stopped using like Icy Hot and stuff, and I use just their pain relief cream.
Nice.
Because it's so good. But the funniest thing about it is that wasn't my craziest trip. My craziest trip was in college. I don't know what it was. All I remember is I had some brownies, and we all know that when brownies are involved, dangerous things happen.
Right.
I had some brownies. I went back to my apartment, and I started feeling the high, but I didn't realize how bad it was until I'm taking off my sneakers from the party that I was at, and I sit back on my bed, on the edge of my bed, and I look at my wall, and the wall looks really, really, really glittery. And so I'm like, yo, is there glitter on my wall? Did I put glitter on my wall? Has it been there this whole time and I just didn't? So I go to touch the wall and the wall melts in front of me. It was at that point I knew I was in trouble. It was then the longest walk from my bedroom to the kitchen, which was really only about 2 doors down. Went to the kitchen, got myself a box of Oreos that I had in the cabinet. Went back to my room. It gets better than that. Went back to my room, laid in bed, got the TV on, and I picked up this Oreo. I pop it open because I like eating my Oreos half and half. Next thing I know, there's no Oreo in my hand. So I go in and grab another Oreo. And that happens like 4 or 5 times. Eventually, I fall asleep. When I wake up, I am surrounded by half Oreos. Because what I was doing was I was eating half of it and falling asleep, and the other half was falling out of my hand. And I would wake up, and I would think I ate the whole Oreo, so I'd get another Oreo. I was surrounded in my bed at the time by like half Oreos. Like I said, I'll pop them, and so I'd have one side with the cream and then one side with nothing on it. And that was the craziest trip of my life, man. It was I to this day don't know what was in that brownie, but I'm just glad I survived it. But know what you're having, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do drugs, children. Not even the ones prescribed by your doctors, because they're your dealers now. Anybody with a chronic pain condition will understand exactly what I mean when I say your doctor's your dealer. But Dre, we are in 2025. This is the first Yerrr Sports Show episode of 2025. I can't believe it. Like I feel like 2020 was yesterday. And we're in 2025 now. And I want to, before we go any further with our episode, I want to give you a big shout out. Your new podcast, your basketball-centric podcast with Randy. Absolutely great stuff that's coming out of there. Looking forward to seeing how that's going to grow in 2025. We've got the Dog Days of Baseball podcast. We're revamping and retooling. We're looking forward to coming back in 2025. And I know there's a lot more ideas and a lot more things that we've all spoken about that you've got percolating for 2025. Dre, I think 2025 is going to be a big year for the Yerrr Sports Show and the entire Yerrr Sports Show nation as a whole.
Absolutely. We're looking to build, looking to continue to inspire and get better. Like, we've been doing this for a better part of 5 years. Actually, January 13th will make 5 years from episode 1 of the Yerrr Sports Show. So It's definitely been a ride. But when when you're doing something for a bit and there's room for growth, you don't stay stagnant. You grow. You throw ideas at the wall. You see what hits. You plan properly, and you move from there. It's
Yeah,
always it's always dope because you have people around you. Like I have people around me, like you, Tay, Matt, who are very motivated individuals. Y'all put your mind to something, y'all make it happen. So with tea time, popping off, with Brooklyn bullshit about the pop off, and dog days of baseball, and a couple other things that I haven't mentioned, but just ideas in my head that I think will hit. And even getting more guests on the Yerrr Sports Show and our other shows. It's going to be a good year for Yerrr. And we also hit the episodes this year, sometime in the summer. So
yeah.
it's going to be fun and exciting as well for everybody involved. So I appreciate you guys seeing the vision and creating the vision in your own eyes as well. Because this, I said this before, say this again. This don't run without y'all. So this don't run without y'all. So I appreciate each and every one of you who who jump on, who do the show. I appreciate everybody who listens to the show as well. Everybody who comes up with ideas, people who want to be on, all that stuff. People who join the fantasy leagues, all that stuff. So it's definitely gonna be a big 2025 for everybody together and also individually, especially for you as well. Not only your promotion, but you're about to become a whole ass husband. So
Yeah, it's just about almost 100 days away. We were doing the
mhm.
math. I'm not allowed to say that loud because it stresses the missus out.
It's the
Um,
final
yeah,
countdown.
I got actually just yesterday got
Mhm,
fitted
mhm,
for my suit. Which by the way, I just want to state for the record, um, I love suits, but when you go to a suit place,
mhm.
um, these things are too damn expensive.
They sure are.
Um, they were like they put some beautiful white shirts on me, and they were like, okay, we're gonna tailor this up, it's gonna be great, blah 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 blah. When I looked at when they were ringing it up, I say to you, two white shirts, well, sorry, three white shirts originally. I got one taken off. They were
Mhm.
trying to charge me $375 for three white shirts. I was like, my man's, I can go to Macy's,
Bro, I go to Poppy and them and
right?
you get that, bro,
You
for
really
like
want to
20
play? I will walk into
$20.
Portobello. I will walk into a Portobello,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and get me a Hood Fabulous suit. But no, it's beautiful. It looks great. Things are still coming along. Just it's I can't believe it either. It's a blessing as well. I know Tay has been, went through some highs and some lows in 2024, and
Mm-hmm.
everything seems to be peaking for her as well. I know Matt really as well went through a lot of highs and lows personally in 2024, and things starting to look up for him. And so it's great, like on a professional side for us, things are looking great, things are looking up. And on personal sides for all of us as well, things are looking up, and everybody that we're associated with. But Dre, you said that one of our goals in 2025 was to hopefully have more guests. Well, I know somebody who just might have time on his hands to be a guest for the Yerrr Sports Show, because breaking news out of Miami is that the Miami Heat have suspended Jimmy Butler for conduct detrimental to the team for his actions over the last couple of weeks and days. A lot of trade talk going around Jimmy Buckets. Big shout out to the Queen for breaking the news to us from the breaking news of the world. Dre, Jimmy Butler may be available to be a guest. He's got nothing to do right now. He's not going to be playing for Miami. They just suspended his ass.
It was some green braids.
It's time for us to take our talents elsewhere. As um Pat Riley did this with LeBron. Pat Riley did this with Shaq. When he don't want to pay you, he won't pay you, and he'll do everything in his power to make sure that he show everybody that he is in charge. Right? Um, but Jimmy Butler's time in Miami should have been done probably at least 2 years ago. And I say that because Jimmy Butler has been asking for people to be put around him, and Miami Heat does not want to make any moves. Right? And he's frustrated. Right? Like, there's no way. We've seen the NBA Finals, we've seen the playoffs. A lot of this time it is Jimmy Butler literally willing his team to victory in these playoffs. And like, what do you expect him to do? You want him to stay there on a sinking ship, or what do you expect? The man said he wanted to stay. You didn't want to pay him. So what is he to do? That's like me going to a job, and my job, I want a raise for my job, and my job doesn't want to give me a raise. So guess what I want to do? I'm gonna look for another job. That's it. And that's pretty much all it is. But it seems like, there's a power trip going on in Miami right now, and we've seen this party before. We've seen this movie before with LeBron, with Shaq, now with Jimmy Butler. So you kind of got to wait and see how this turns out. But Jimmy Butler won't be on the Heat for too much longer.
Absolutely not. Come to New York.
Nah.
Yes.
Y'all be all right. Y'all have OG and Mikal Bridges. Y'all be okay.
Come to New York.
That'll be the only way. That'll be the only way I become a Knicks fan again. If he comes to New York.
I don't like these aggressive tactics on both sides. If I have to be honest, right? I do agree with what a lot of Dre is saying, as far as, what do you expect him to do? He wants to compete, and he did a press conference and he was talking about how he wants to find his love for basketball again and stuff like that. And I get that. But at the end of the day, like, the Miami Heat is in no position to be a competitive team outside of Jimmy Butler. You know what I'm saying? This could have been resolved months ago. They could have made appropriate trades. A lot of people don't want to play for Miami anymore. It's not the team to be. You get what I'm saying? Now, I'm not a fan of players dictating where they want to go. As you guys know, I'm not a hypocrite. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to stand by the fact that I feel like when someone says, well, I'm not happy here, you know what I'm saying? They want the teams to move hell and high water to get them out of the situation. And it's not conducive to the team as well from a financial standpoint either. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You're forcing a trade. You get what I'm saying? And I just feel like, if we weren't in an era where people up and leave teams and go want to play with their friends and this, that, and the third, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And that's period. And Jimmy Butler is a very talented player. He has the heart of a champion. You get what I'm saying? But Miami is not going to get their just due for. They're not going to get what he is worth to them. And they're looking at that too. Let's take emotions out of it.
I do think that even if they don't get him, they're not going to get anything from him if he leaves in free agency, though. So my thing about that is, if you're going to trade him, make sure you get something, because once he leaves, that's it. You can't get nothing from him once he's leaves in free agency.
Well, speaking about getting something from him, and I do want to say this, Tay, just touch on something you said. Yes, I do agree. Everything you said about Jimmy Butler, and obviously we know, as what Dre was saying, like, this has been a repeated thing with Pat Riley. Pat Riley is one of these guys that likes to win. He always wants to be the one. He always wants to be the one to walk out with the bigger what in the pissing contest. by any means necessary. But Jimmy Butler is also a very mercurial person, right? His emotions and the way his passion vacillates very easily and very quickly from being supremely motivated and being supremely invested to being checked out at the same time. Dre, to your point, they're going to want to get something for him, and a couple of people have brought up 4 very interesting destinations for Jimmy Butler in a trade. Those four teams that have been brought up a lot in conversations about where Jimmy Butler could end up are as follows: the Golden State Warriors, the Denver Nuggets.
So the Golden State Warriors is the destination for divas who want to win a championship.
These are from everything that I've been reading, the top 4 trade destinations, the places that seem to have the most interest in him, and the places that also have something to give up for him or could use him. Golden State, Dallas, Denver, and Houston. Now, one of the big things that apparently has been a problem with the Golden State trade has been that Golden State, Miami would want Jonathan Kuminga as well as Andrew Wiggins and some picks. While apparently from what I've been reading, the Warriors are okay with giving up Andrew Wiggins and picks. They are apparently really holding the line at giving up Jonathan Kuminga. They really want to keep him. And that has been the sticking point for the Golden State trade, wanting to keep Kuminga. And obviously Jimmy Butler on that team would crack open that championship window just a little bit more for Golden State. The Mavericks obviously have not been living up to the lofty expectations that their 3-headed monster of Luka, Kyrie, and Klay Thompson was expected to be. And now Luka's gone for a few weeks due to a calf injury. So a destination that has been popping up is the Dallas Mavericks. But
another final, weren't they in the NBA Finals?
A couple years ago, yeah.
No, they were in the
another. It was just the last one, no?
Were they? Oh, yes, they were.
Yeah,
right?
They lost to Boston.
That's right. I forgot about that. That's how
you know what? You want to get traded? You know what? You know where he should go? What team is at the bottom? What team is at the bottom of the Eastern Conference?
The Nets. The Nets. No, I'm just kidding. The Philadelphia 76ers.
I knew it was the 76ers.
Yeah.
Trade him for Paul George. Trade him for Paul George. And watch
they don't want to trade him in the East.
Trade him for Paul George.
Here's the interesting
thing. I'm just
saying,
right? I'm unhappy. I lost my smile is equivalent to freaking KD going to the
yeah. And interestingly enough, again, the 4 teams that are being talked about as the trade destinations are all in the Western Conference. Obviously, the Heat have no interest in trading him in the Eastern Conference. I think that that's a thing that they don't want to do. I'm sure Jimmy Butler has teams in the Eastern Conference that he would love to go to. Interesting caveat about the Dallas trade. Apparently, a Dallas trade would have to center around Klay Thompson. So it would be Klay Thompson getting shipped out of Dallas where he signed that free agent contract to be able to bring in somebody like a Jimmy Butler. Then there's Denver. There's not really yet a lot around a trade package from what Denver has, but you can obviously think that they would think that Jimmy Butler, along with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, would give them a lot of opportunity to fight for a championship once again out west, probably more than an Aaron Gordon and a Michael Porter Jr. would give them, especially with Porter Jr.'s injury history. And then lastly, the Houston Rockets, mostly a young core, so they have probably the youngest players to give back to a team like Miami. But the question is going to be, is Ime Udoka going to be okay with blowing up that young core that he has now led to the number 3 seed in the West?
He shouldn't even
to bring in the veteran in Jimmy Butler. Does he think Jimmy Butler is going to be that much of a difference maker for that team or would he just want to keep running with the young guns that he has? Tay, I mean, I think this question is kind of a little bit more obvious, so I'm going to go to you first. What are your thoughts on the 4 trade destinations that have been bandied about for Jimmy Butler?
I've been trolling this whole every time you said it, a destination, so you know how I feel. No.
Dre?
Just get him out of Miami. That's it.
So you don't care where?
Oh, no. The reason why is if, as a business person, right? Whatever happens from here, I don't get anything for him if I let him go in free agency. Second round picks have been the talk of the town the last 5 years in the league. Trade them, get some picks, get some young assets to build around, and go about your business. I want to keep people in places where they're unhappy, and I get what you're saying, Tay, 100% about players dictating where they want to go. But as a team owner, you dictate where he goes. So if you want to send him to the Charlotte Bobcats, you send him to the Charlotte Bobcats, right? If you want to send him to the Shanghai Sharks, send him to the Shanghai Sharks. But
send him to the Shanghai Sharks.
But don't keep a player there that's unhappy, and then that ruins.
Unhappy? Come on, man. We got to get up every day to show up for work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you be unhappy at work sometimes too?
No comment.
Okay. All right.
No comment.
No comment, right?
But it is a job. You're getting paid millions of dollars to do a job.
I agree. But if I'm not happy in one space in my job, I want to go to another place. I want to go to another station. I'm still doing my job. I'm just not doing it there.
I just feel like when they were winning, everybody was happy. Now they're not winning. No, they're not happy. And the thing is, like, it's been LeBron started, not LeBron and all them other guys before, they started this whole thing. And like I said, I do feel like players should have autonomy and stuff like that, but strong arming a team into forcing the trade and stuff like that, I feel like it's dirty. It's dirty work. I don't like it.
James Harden did this just a couple of years ago.
Sure did.
And Tay said the same thing. Like,
I said, I got to keep the same. You know, I got to keep the same energy.
No, you keep the same energy. And I have to. I appreciate that. No, I definitely appreciate that.
I have to about this. Like, listen, you don't like where you are, great. You have problems where you are, right? But you still have to maintain the level of professionalism. And there are ways to deal with this that I think, like what we see James Harden do it a couple of years ago, we're seeing Jimmy Butler do now. Jimmy Butler shot 3 for 5 and 3 for 6 and scored 9 points in 2 straight games, barely giving any effort and any energy. It's the first time he scored under 10 points in a game since 2020, and back-to-back games, I should say, since 2020, 2021. Like, this is not the Jimmy Butler we're used to seeing.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, if you're not happy, set it out.
Right.
I'm sorry. Like, it's hard. It's really hard for me. I didn't like it when LeBron did it to go to the Heat, even though he did it in free agency. You get what I'm saying? He was villainized. He did it as right of a way as you could. Right?
Yeah.
Players, like I said, it's like I toe a line between players having autonomy and stuff over where they play. And then I just don't, me personally, I'm just not a fan of, because we're not winning and I don't have help. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to leave and all this stuff like that. Like, I just feel like there is a little bit of, a better way to handle these things.
Yep.
Obviously the talks broke down behind the scenes, but to take it to the public, because now you're lessening your stock because you look like a problem. And you're not KD. You're not LeBron. I'll give you overhearted.
I think we'll say he's not KD. He's not LeBron. He's not KD. But we also got to go by this man's resume too. So I agree with what you're saying in terms of it breaking down and how it makes him look, because the last couple places he's left has kind of been like, and be it as is may, some of those were not his fault. His attitude towards certain situations have not been the best, and I agree with that.
Yeah, it's the
I,
attitude.
I think with this situation, um, it's not like he's trying to leave to go play with his friends or anything like that.
Do we
Like
know that though?
Jimmy Butler hasn't shown himself to be one of those type of people to leave.
But we don't. But we also don't know. We don't know what those talks look like behind the scenes.
That's
Right.
true.
We do know. We can go by precedent and what Pat Riley has done in the past and stuff like that to know that he's a stalwart, and that it'll be harder to negotiate where you want to go with the Riley style of managing and leading. You get what I'm saying? But we don't know who his friends are in the league. We don't know how he presents himself back. You don't know what type of conversations were had and this, that, and the third, or you know what I'm saying? So it's like I want to be fair. You know, like I said, you know, I don't think that the Heat set him up for success. And that is something to be, you know, he is your marquee player for your team. And you did not put you know how to build a championship level team. And this goes back to my core argument of there not being enough superstars to go around. The league has not built superstars. So now we are stuck in these pockets of awkward interactions between teams and players because they have hedged their bets on one or two centerpieces, three centerpieces. You know what I'm saying? If your team don't have three big centerpieces, you know what I'm saying? You're not considered a marquee team. You get what I'm saying? And then some markets, like if you're not Steph, if you're not LeBron, if you're not KD, if you're not this, you're not that, it ain't going to translate to success. You know what I'm saying? The NBA is stuck in a horrible pattern right now that they're trying to break, but it's hard to break. And there are some casualties for that. You get what I'm saying? All these second round picks and first round picks, you're picking for the future. But we want to know about right now. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. The big talk of the offseason with the draft was Bronny James. He was a second round pick. No one paid attention to anybody in the first round.
And he's played all of 5 games this year?
Yeah, no one has paid attention to who could be next in the league that's not tied to LeBron, that's not tied to this. It is a rough marketing scheme that has just not been working. And unfortunately, that's where Jimmy Butler's caught.
And I think oddly to that, I was actually just talking with a good friend of mine about this, my best man, actually. We were talking about how none of the first round picks, especially the lottery picks, have really been doing anything of note this year in the NBA, which also goes to show, like, you start to really look at the fact that a lot of these, there's still this mentality in college of like, I'm only going to play 1 year, or I'm going to go play in the G League, or I'm going to go play internationally for a year and then go into the draft very young, try to get into the NBA at 18, 19, 20 years old. At most, maybe play 2 years in college and be out. But what we're starting to see is you no longer have these generational talents that have the ability to jump after 1 year of college into the NBA and be a star, or even 2 years of college and be a star. A lot of these players are flaming out a lot faster. They're not really playing that long-term caliber, or they're a first-round pick that is super duper heralded as a lottery pick, but that ends up being a bench warmer for most teams for the rest of their career. And I think we have to start maybe going back to the mentality of like, yo, we need to start getting these kids to stay in college just a little bit longer, if just for the basketball
development for the league. Yeah, 100%.
Then these first round picks are just not what they used to be. Like, we used to see first round picks be all-stars. We used to see first round picks dominate the league. Talk about it. Yo,
you know how you get players to stay? No, you get players to stay? Get rid of analytics. Get rid of NIL, get rid of analytics, right? Analytics killed the game. Advanced stats killed the game when they see that kids are shooting a lot more threes than twos now. So you want a kid who can shoot now off rip. Well, he get him while he's young, right? Because his stock is great while he's young. And if he's terrible, I can get rid of him. No harm, no foul. Right? Teams don't value players as much as they do anymore. And that's because the teams are just looking at the numbers that they can provide, not how they can develop the player. So the NBA is at fault in this too.
Oh yeah, no, I think there's a lot of complicit, and I think when we talk about like analytics and advanced stats, this is also an argument that we've had in baseball with a lot of baseball traditionalists talking about like get rid of analytics. The fact that I was watching something, I was just talking to somebody, the basketball coach at my school about this, about how I was watching a podcast where BJ Armstrong, great point guard, for those of you who don't remember who BJ Armstrong was, BJ Armstrong talking about how like he's talking to coaches and he's doing like scouting visits with teams, and like it boggles his mind that he's just like, teams and coaches have legitimately told him there's only 3 shots that we care about: a 3-pointer, a layup or a dunk,
and a free throw,
or a foul or a free throw. That's it. There's no
more mid-range.
No more mid-range. There's no more low.
No one cares about the dunk either. The layup.
No, when's the last time you saw somebody do a finger roll?
Well, I know in the last time I never want to see a fucking finger roll again. I saw one almost 30 years ago that, changed the dynamic.
That broke your heart.
No, I think that finger roll caused Pat Riley to go to the Heat.
When's the last time you saw somebody do one of them Tony Parker teardrop shots from coming in from
Steph Curry does that. Steph Curry does that.
But he's one of the only ones. I was watching the Christmas Day
kind of old school.
I was watching the Christmas Day games, and I had to walk away because I would see guys literally drive from the 3-point line right to the hoop. And my mans, you could just lay it up. You're right there. They would drive and then kick out. And I'm like, yo, my man, you're right under the basket. You have an uncontested layup.
Not y'all now talking about what I've been saying for the past 5 years. I mean, I'm just saying. Feels like the Queen has been saying this for a long time. I mean, I'm just saying.
But I say it, and people say, "Oh, you're old, and you're looking for a variety of the game that they don't play that anymore. It's a different game." And I'm like, "But just because it's different, don't mean it's better."
And then the thing is, like you said, going back to your original point, we don't have college superstars really anymore. You get what I'm saying? And you cut the college, the educational aspect of learning the fundamentals of a team game is so different now. It's not the same. It's not conducive to longevity for these players. They're like, either you can shoot a 3 or you can't.
They don't even know how to play. Social media presence that you're going to bring to the team attention.
And to be honest with you, and then the high school basketball coaches, right? None of these guys are former NBA players. I'm just being honest.
No, they coach AAU because they get money. Because AAU gets all that private money.
Right, but I'm just saying, as far as player development, right? If you had a chance to play for a Syracuse or play for a Georgetown, play under that pedigree, you get what I'm saying, and learn the team dynamic, learn the teammate dynamic, learn how to be physically and mentally and emotionally responsible for your career. That's what college is for. College to me is more for career development, professional development than it ever is for education.
Yep. And what's interesting about that fact, especially when you mention those schools, what's interesting about a lot of those players, even a lot of those first round players that weren't really stars. What I find interesting is that a lot of those players who went to schools that actually prepared them, they survived and found ways to survive longer in their sport as role players, as bench players, and had a good 15, 16 plus year career without ever having to be a star. Case in point, the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, JJ Redick. JJ Redick was a first round pick. JJ Redick, oh my God, this guy was a college star. JJ Redick was not a star in the NBA the way he was in college, but guess what? He carved out a damn hell of a good career over 10 plus years in the NBA, made a boatload of money, became an analyst, and now my man's is coaching the LA Lakers. But you've got guys nowadays that they're flaming out of the NBA in 5 years. But you know what? I'll go play in the Big Three and get a check from Ice Cube because I gotta keep my star power somehow. But what you could have a 15-year career if you just knew how to fundamentally be a sound basketball player. But what do we know? We're old and we want a version of the game that doesn't exist anymore, Tay. But speaking of a version of the game that doesn't exist anymore, the NBA Hall of Fame announced its final nominees for their upcoming Hall of Fame class, and some incredible names are candidates, first-time candidates, high-profile first-time candidates, and we'll start with some of the biggest names on the list from the players' side: Carmelo Anthony, Sue Bird, Maya Moore, Dwight Howard, Mark Gasol. From the coaching side, Doc Rivers. I know, don't kill me, Tay. Billy Donovan, Sylvia Fowles, Shameik Holdsclaw, and then the longtime owner of the Miami Heat, Mickey Arison. Incredible first-time candidates on this list. The full list, if you're looking for the full list of players eligible, players, coaches, and teams eligible for the 2025 ballot, please go on to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Obviously,
people don't like to know damn research. You know, Amari Stoudemire was on the list too. But
yeah, Amari Stoudemire as well. Yep.
Let's get it cracking real quick. We were talking about this a little bit behind the scenes, and you know, there's some people, like I do believe, like Sue Bird, yes, Dominique Holdsclaw, of course. I don't want to get into this whole soliloquy on the air, but I do feel like Carmelo needs to wait a bit. I do feel like Amari needs to wait a bit. I do feel like, you know, I'm not going to get into the coaching aspect of. And I also think Marcus. I'm not impressed.
You're not impressed by somebody first time?
No.
I think Marc Gasol is going to get in because he's considered an international nominee. So he might get the being like, because like the bigger names, when you're looking at the internationals, you're looking at David Blatt, who was a coach for the Cavaliers for a half a second in the NBA. You've got Andre Karolinko, who, while I love him as a player, was not necessarily a Hall of Famer. Andres Nocioni, great Chicago Bull, not a Hall of Famer. So when you're really looking at like the international nominees, I think, you know,
of course, Marc Gasol is he's the most notable. But, you know, I do believe that Dwight Howard, because he won that ring with the Lakers, puts him a little bit heads and shoulders above, you know, the Carmelo and Amari. I'm just going to be honest with you. You get what I'm saying? He went from being the face of the franchise, and, you know, he was the face of the Orlando Magic for so long. They went to the finals, I think, once, and they got embarrassed by the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken. Please don't quote me on that. But I just feel like to be a team, a Hall of Fame caliber player, I just want to know, you know, if that's the case, every franchise player should be in the Hall of Fame. Is Muggsy Bogues in the Hall of Fame?
You know what's interesting? I
asked the question.
Sorry, I didn't get that. It buffered out.
Is Muggsy Bogues in the Hall of Fame? If Amari and Carmelo going to the Hall of Fame, these are the other people I want to see going to the Hall of Fame. I want to see Sean Kemp going to the Hall of Fame. Is Gary Payton in the Hall of Fame?
I believe he is. I'm not sure.
Okay, if not, then leave me alone.
Yes, right. Gary Payton got in 2013.
So Gary Payton is in the Hall of Fame and Sean Kemp is not?
Yep, Gary Payton got in 2013.
Okay, I digress. Talk to the people, Dre, because I ain't got shit to say.
I don't know. I think Gary Payton
what?
Got a little bit more longevity than Sean Kemp.
Is it about longevity or is it about impact?
Sean,
because
Gary Payne's impact on the point guard position?
I'm just on the league as a whole. You get what I'm saying? It's not just about the position that they play.
But also
that's just carving out it's like moving the goalpost in a way. Because without Gary Payton, without Sean Kemp, there was no Gary Payton at his best. Let's be real here.
I give you that. My thing is, it's the overall scope of basketball. It's not just the NBA in that. So I get that's the only thing I can probably say.
Really?
Yes. It's not just the NBA.
Mourning in the Hall of Fame?
Should be.
Alonzo Mourning.
I don't believe.
I think he is.
Because if Alonzo Mourning is not in the Hall of Fame, right? And Carmelo and the Mario, all right.
Zoe's in. I remember Zoe getting in.
Okay, so then I liken Carmelo and Amari on that. I don't put them in the same echelon with certain players that have not been in there yet. I'm just being honest with you. That's just for me because, I'm big on the entire picture. Like I said, there's generational bias with some of these picks. It's generational bias, I feel. Because at the grand scheme of things, Amari was one of my favorite players, but injuries impacted his ability to really dominate how he was supposed to.
I mean, is it Grant Hill in the Hall of Fame?
I believe. I can't remember. I believe he is in the Hall of Fame.
Because I feel like that's the same that can be said for Grant Hill, and Grant Hill didn't win the ring.
Well, if Grant Hill's in the Hall of Fame, Sean Kemp should be in the Hall of Fame.
Amari Stoudemire Melo should get in first try. Grant Hill got in first try.
You do have to remember.
I think Grant Hill, when you look back at 1994, and when you look back from 93, because if that's the case, then freaking Penny Hardaway should be in the Hall of Fame. But
I agree. I think Penny should be in the Hall of Fame as well.
When you look at the cultural impact of basketball between 1993 and 1998, these are people like, I believe they're generational players, right? You have people like Sean Kemp, Grant Hill. They were supposed to be the next up. For sure. I feel like I don't think Grant Hill should have been in the Hall of Fame. The best thing about Grant Hill was those 2 pairs of sneakers he came out with for Fila. And the Sprite commercials.
This is true. I will say though.
If that's the case, put Robert Horry ass in the Hall of Fame.
I was gonna say I was gonna make
Tim Hardaway. Put his ass in the Hall of Fame too.
Robert Horry is definitely coming for sure. For sure.
I think Robert Horry does it. But I will say this, Tay. I do want to say this real quick.
Let me say my damn point. Can I finish? Okay. Sean Kemp should be in the Hall of Fame. Horace Grant should be in the Hall of Fame. Kevin Johnson should be in the Hall of Fame. Tim Hardaway should be in the Hall of Fame. Chris Webber should be in the Hall of Fame.
Tim Hardaway not in the
Yeah, I'm just saying Chris Webber should be in the Hall of Fame. Right? I mean, I'm just saying, okay, if for all intents and purposes, Joakim Noah should be in the Hall of Fame too. Put him in there.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
I thought he wasn't.
Chris Webber got it in 2021.
He sure did. He sure did. I remember.
Well, then he deserved that. He didn't.
So him and Paul Pierce got in together.
It was Chris Bosh, Paul Pierce.
What about Chris Bosh is in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah,
Are you serious? And we're sitting here arguing Sean Kemp shouldn't go in the Hall of Fame? Are you kidding me? All right. I
don't know. Bosh got them 2 rings.
Yeah, so did Horace Grant, right? But you don't see his ass in the Hall of Fame now, do you?
I don't know. Horace Grant numbers compared to Bosh numbers is night and day, though. I get what you're saying. You're not wrong in how you feel and what you're saying.
What about Rasheed Wallace? Why he ain't in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, no, that's coming too, because Chauncey Billups got in, so it's only right that.
Where's Ron Artest? Why isn't he in the Hall of Fame?
because he liked to fight people.
Yeah, nah. The list is fugazi. I'm over it. Next.
I will say this: you do remember. I think this is the one place, the NBA Hall of Fame is the one Hall of Fame that takes into account all of basketball. Like Major League Baseball Hall of Fame for a long time only cared about what you did in Major League Baseball. Like even if you played internationally, it didn't count that. Like there was a big thing about like whether or not remember when Ichiro came to Major League Baseball, they were like, oh, well, though he's starting from scratch again, his entire career in Japan didn't count. All that counts is whether or not what he does in Major League Baseball. The NFL only cares about the NFL. They don't care. You could be the greatest college player in the history of ever. If you suck in the NFL, you suck in the NFL. You don't make it to the Hall of Fame. The NBA Hall of Fame is also the Basketball Hall of Fame. It is not necessarily the NBA Hall of Fame. It does take into account your college career and international career. All of that.
They don't give a fuck about college. So let's just.
Oh no, Grant Hill. I think that's what got Grant Hill over the edge because Grant Hill had an incredible collegiate career.
Yeah, but Grant Hill was also. If Grant Hill's in the Hall of Fame, then you put Amari in the Hall of Fame, period. And then you put Sean Kemp in there too.
I don't think Amari should get in. I believe Sean Kemp should.
You think Melo should be in the Hall of Fame yet?
Not yet. I think you are 100% right that there is going to be
not on the first time.
Right.
Not on the first time.
You are 100% right that there is a generational bias and a generational blindness to, I think, some of these names. And I think Melo's going to get in because he's going to carry the star power. I think Melo will literally get in to be the superstar name that gets in. And that'll be the reason why he gets in so early. He only won one championship in college. He left Syracuse after his freshman year. And I believe he didn't win one with the Lakers, right? Did he win that last one with the Lakers that the Lakers won during the bubble or something like that? No. So there we go. Like, Melo didn't win that ring either.
That bubble ring is the only reason why Dwight Howard's ass should get it on the first time. The only reason. And you got to thank the king.
But I think what kills Dwight Howard's career also is the fact that Dwight didn't play in college. Right. So his resume, when you compare it to everybody else's, right. So they'll equate, for example, they will equate in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, Carmelo's Syracuse championship just as heavily as they would Dwight Howard's NBA title.
I don't know. Dwight got that ring in Shanghai, so I mean,
not the one in Shanghai.
It count.
I do believe though that as Tay said, Robert Horry should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, the man has the NBA record for most 3-pointers made in a playoff game without a miss. The man is a 7-time NBA champion just on that. I mean, he should be in there. This man won championships with 4 different teams. And played, if you really think about it, between his time in Alabama from 1988 to 1992, the man literally played 20 years of basketball. I really think Robert Horry should be in the Hall of Fame as well. But you know what's
half those people on them Celtics teams that won 1,000 championships? Yeah, me neither. And they in the Hall of Fame. So
yeah, but Robert Horry
but Robert Horry,
he had an impact on the teams that he won titles with.
He had an impact on the league. I mean, like I said, Robert Horry was a well-rounded player.
Yeah, this is true. But the NBA, by the way, Naismith isn't the only Hall of Fame with some big names coming in 2025. There's some names that I really want to get your opinions on. The NFL, Major League Baseball, released its modern player finalists for the class of 2025. Obviously, the Hall of Fame selection committee will meet prior to the Super Bowl, and the class of 2025 will be publicly unveiled in about a month's time on February 6th during the NFL Honors Show. But the list of players for the 2025 Hall of Fame include Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Antonio Gates, Torrey Holt, Steve Smith Jr., Terrell Suggs, Fred Taylor, Adam Vinatieri, Reggie Wayne, Darren Woodson, and the biggest name, Eli Manning.
Put Eli in today.
Start.
Happy birthday,
Allen,
Eli.
Start from Allen up.
Yeah.
From Allen up.
From Allen up.
From Allen up. That's it.
Yeah.
So you got both Allens getting it, Eric Allen and Jared Allen?
I say start from Woodson.
Nah. Start after Allen, like
So Antonio Gates.
Yes, start from Gates.
Torrey Holt.
Yes.
Eli Manning.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Steve Smith.
First, they shouldn't even have to vote on the GOAT.
The greatest giant ever.
The greatest giant ever.
Terrell Suggs.
Lawrence Taylor.
Terrell Suggs.
Yes.
Fred Taylor.
Yes.
Adam Vinatieri.
Yes.
Absolutely. If Adam don't get in on the first try, they're smoking, bro.
I mean, how many rings does Tom Brady have without Adam Vinatieri?
About 3.
And Reggie Wayne.
Yeah, that's where Peyton's ring come from too.
Yeah. But Eli Manning put the whole class in.
Put the GOAT in.
Put the GOAT in.
GOAT in.
I don't know. Would they become the first brothers
I don't think
to
so.
play the same position in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know, but you gotta put the GOAT in.
You gotta put the GOAT in.
Gotta put the GOAT in.
Happy birthday to him too.
Yes, happy birthday to 1A of the greatest giant.
Yeah.
Speaking of great giants, I don't know whether people are happy.
George Sanders, the next great giant for sure.
Nah, they done shit the bed with that. They done shit the bed with that one because they won that stupid ass game on Sunday against the fucking Colts. Excuse my language. I'm hot.
What's the name? The Raiders won too.
Oh,
the Raiders won too, but now the Raiders have like the 8th pick. So,
speaking of one of the greatest giants, I don't know whether people are happy or upset about this, but the Philadelphia Eagles have decided, at least what we've been hearing, they are deciding to rest Saquon Barkley for the Week 18 game. Saquon needing, I think, 105 yards to break Eric Dickerson's all-time single-season rushing record. Katie, do you think they should have gone for the record and then pulled him out?
no.
Do you think if he loses the MVP, I'll ask it like this:
He's losing the MVP to Josh Allen.
If he breaks the rushing record, though, do you think that gives him the MVP?
No.
Okay. Dre, what do you think? Should the Eagles have let him break the record?
I think that's a him decision more than anything. That he should have fought for it if he really wanted to do it. The Eagles, I don't know. The Eagles are not winning the championship anyway, so I say, go for it. Let him go for this. Let him go for it. But also, Saquon is an injury magnet, and
That's what I was gonna say.
And that's the thing. You kind of you want him for the final stretch. You want him for the playoffs. You really want him for the playoffs. The NFC is not a cakewalk when it comes to the playoffs. In the regular season, the NFC is just kind of the Wild West, right? But in the playoffs, forget about it. Like, you want your best pieces out there. So for them to sit him, I kind of agree.
I agree for some reason. I'm not a fan of the resting for the last week. But let's be real here. The Giants' defense is not bad. It's their offense that's terrible. You feel me? And it's the offense that has no clue, but the defense has been pretty solid. Let's be real here. under the Dexter Lawrences and that whole D line and stuff like that, they've been okay. They haven't. The defense does not deserve what the offense gave them.
I agree. No, I
You
agree.
get what I'm saying?
100%.
And there's no guarantee that Saquon is just because the Giants have an abysmal record does not mean that Saquon will win. 108 yards. It's not like it's 40 yards. It's not like it's 20 yards. It is 108 yards.
You also got to look at it like this. If I'm the Giants, I don't want to be the team. I don't want him to break the record against us. So realistically, as fucked up as it may sound, yeah, you gotta go to the hospital, my man. Like, you're not breaking the record, or you gotta be someplace on the sideline. You're not gonna break the record against the team that let you go, that fumbled you, right? They refuse to let that happen. But there's probably some Giants there that probably might, sidestep and let him get the record. Who knows? But as far as them sitting him, I think it's the right decision.
It's the right decision. Because the Eagles woke up. The Eagles woke up. I mean, they have a chance of getting to the Super Bowl. They have a chance. Now, do I see them beating Detroit?
Probably not.
Probably not, but they ain't no slouch either.
This is true. Speaking about roads to the Super Bowl, we are on week 18, the final week of the regular season in the NFL. And while a lot of things are locked up, there are actually some very intriguing things left to figure out in week 18. Now, we know 3 of the 4 division winners in the AFC. Kansas City has won the entire AFC at 15-1. They could lose in week 18 and it doesn't matter, at least not for them. It does for their opponent, though. We'll get into that. The Buffalo Bills have locked up the number 2 seed and the AFC at 13-3. They're going to be resting.
It's coming for Patrick Mahomes. Just so you know that.
I don't believe it.
Last year, I believe it was last year.
No, let me tell you something. I'm
not doing it, Jay. Nope, I'm not doing it.
No, we've been done with Josh Allen for 2 years. Let me tell you what I see in them. That this looks like that Bills team that beat the Chiefs but lost to the Bengals, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
They're a quiet good. No one is sucking on the Josh Allen teat this year.
Not the Josh Allen teat. That's a lot right there.
Let me tell you something. I don't see it for the Chiefs. I don't see it this year. Kelsey is slow. Kelsey was a big reason why they had that. He was a dynamic tight end, still is, but he's an old tight end. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of competition. The Houston Texans have locked up the number 4 seed at 9-7. They've won the South, so that's done.
The South was a cakewalk.
It really was. The number 3 seed, though, is still up for grabs right now. Baltimore at 11-5 is right now slotted into the number 3 seed, with the Pittsburgh Steelers at 10-6. Slotted to the number 5 seed. But in week 18, actually tomorrow night, we're recording this on a Friday night. Tomorrow night, Baltimore plays Cleveland. Baltimore's likely resting a lot of players. Pittsburgh is playing Cincinnati. If Pittsburgh beats Cincinnati and Baltimore loses to Cleveland, then Pittsburgh would actually win the division, dropping Baltimore to the 5th seed.
Yes.
But if Baltimore beats Cleveland, it does not matter. If Pittsburgh wins, Baltimore will win the division. Do you think Baltimore fumbles the bag in that game against Cleveland, considering they're resting a lot of their stars?
No,
we don't care.
Yeah.
All right. So looks like Pittsburgh will be there. And I said that the the Chiefs' opponent, it's very important for them. Right now, the Los Angeles Chargers are 10-6. They are locked into the 6th seed, but they have a pretty, let me see here. They have a game against the Raiders, which they should win, but the Chiefs play the Denver Broncos, who have been sneaky good. And if the Denver Broncos win, and the Los Angeles Chargers lose, the Broncos would actually sneak into the playoffs. Do you think there's any chance the Broncos sneak it?
No.
But do you think they beat the Chiefs in Week 18 with everybody resting?
Probably not. But Bo Nix has had a hell of a season.
Oh yeah, he shut up a lot of people. Bo Nix has had a really good season.
He shut me up for sure.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Right now, you have 3 teams in the AFC at 3-13: Cleveland, Tennessee, and New England. They are all tied with the New York Giants at 3-13 right now for the worst record in the NFL. We'll see what happens in Week 18. See if the Giants are going to further mess up their chances at that top 1, top 2 pick. Now, the NFC, just about everything is locked up. Just about. Detroit locked in to the number 1, almost locked into the number 1 seed. I apologize. Detroit has not locked up the conference yet. Detroit is probably playing the biggest game of Week 18. Detroit is playing Minnesota. The winner of that game will not only win their division, but will win the entire NFC. Philly is 13-3 and resting everybody in their mama. So I don't think Philly's going to sneak one out against the Giants. I think the Giants might actually win this one.
No, Giants will win that game.
Well, then Philly might have a chance here, but Detroit, Minnesota, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's Sunday Night Football. Let me check. It is the 8:20 game on Peacock on Sunday. Who do you got? Do you have Detroit winning this, or do you have Minnesota shocking the world like they've been doing all season and not only winning their division, but winning the whole damn NFC?
I think either team deserves it.
Sam Darnold for MVP.
Yeah, I've been high on the Detroit Lions train for about a couple years now, but either team between Minnesota or Detroit, to me, they will be well deserved to have the number 1 seed in the NFC. These 2 teams have been playing lights out all season.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at either one.
Yeah, this is true. Another team that's been playing lights out all season, the Washington Commanders, locking that number 6 seed up in the playoffs.
Lights out, number 6. Hold your horses there, Kunta Kinte.
I mean, with a rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels that had a rough first 3 weeks of the season, these guys went on a run, and had they not lost that game against Philadelphia late in the season, they still would have been in the running of winning the NFC East.
Okay, fair. But you can't put them on the same level as the Detroit and the damn.
No, but I think in their own way,
they are on a different level.
And I think Jaden Daniels is going to be very, very dangerous next year as he gets even better.
We thought that with Joe Burrow.
This is true, but he got hurt. Couple of other games that are of note in Week 18.
What's the excuse now?
Oh, no, he's still looking good. He's coming back. He just needs a better team around him. I think Burrow just needs a better team around. All he has is T. Higgins.
Okay.
Couple of other things that are up to note in Week 18. Atlanta still has a chance of sneaking into the playoffs. If Tampa Bay,
Kirk is hurt, so
it's
not gonna happen.
If Tampa Bay loses, Tampa Bay is playing the Raiders in Week 18. If Tampa Bay somehow loses against the Raiders, and the Atlanta Falcons win their game, Atlanta actually is going to be playing Carolina, one of the worst teams in the NFL. If Atlanta beats Carolina and Tampa Bay somehow loses to the Raiders, Atlanta will actually win the division and knock Tampa Bay completely out of the playoffs.
Nah, I think Baker Mayfield deserves to be in the playoffs. I ain't gonna hold y'all. Like, I don't care about Atlanta that much. Baker Mayfield not to be in the playoffs.
Lastly, you have your 2 wild cards. The Commanders and the Packers are both in. Right now, it's just the Falcons. It's going to be up to Detroit and Minnesota to see who wins the division and the conference, right? And then whether or not Atlanta can sneak into the playoffs. Otherwise, this is what we're looking at here in terms of the NFL playoffs. So I got to ask, I mean, I think Tay already said it, what Herb thought about the Bills. The Bills would not meet the Kansas City Chiefs until the AFC Championship game if they both get there. I think the Bills and the Ravens are the top 2, in my opinion, teams that have an opportunity to break out against the Chiefs.
The Ravens are not that great. When are we going to admit this?
Well, when you got Lamar Jackson, most people think it's going to be your MVP.
Why would he be MVP this year?
Apparently, he's top 3 in the voting. It's him, Josh Allen, and Saquon.
Him and Josh Allen's numbers are kind of the same.
Yeah, but the Ravens don't look that good to me.
The Ravens don't, and I agree with you 100% on that. I don't think he should be the MVP. We go strictly by numbers, yeah, sure, whatever. But
when you talk about,
I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Darnold or Josh Allen got MVP. I want Saquon to win.
I think they would deserve it a little bit more. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. Is this now the Aaron Rodgers award? We're going to do regular season shit and then look good in the regular season, and then when it comes to playoff time, become mediocre. I'm just being honest.
I mean, we can. It could be the Josh Allen award too. Josh Allen do the same thing.
Yeah, but what's his face? The Ravens never went as far as the Ravens under Lamar Jackson has not gone as far consistently as the Bills under freaking Josh Allen. Let's be real here. Mm-hmm. It was a coin toss that changed the direction for the Bills that year.
Also, let's be real. Bad defense by the Bills too.
Yeah, but you can't. You have to be honest. The Kansas City Chiefs, right? They were going back and forth.
No, they were.
They were going back and forth. They had to be tied some way. It wasn't just the defense on one side and the offense on the other, because there were some costly plays with the Chiefs that year. I forgot what year that was. I want to say that was 2021.
Yeah.
Going into 2020.
It was some bullshit for real.
That coin toss thing was different. I don't feel that these Ravens teams these past couple of years have not lived up to the expectation.
They have not.
They have not.
I agree.
Now, when it comes to the Bills, anytime they have to face Mahomes and company, there's some fuckery.
That seems like that was the theme of the season in general when it came to the fucking.
I'm just being honest.
No, you're right. I definitely give you that for sure. The fuckery was definitely in place when it comes to the Bills. To the Chiefs. I get it, right? The Ravens have not been playing up to their standard as well, right? My only argument was, again, Josh Allen doing the same, but we also got to realize that Josh Allen has also ran into damn Patrick Mahomes almost every single time he's on the generational tear. So
this is true. Let's say, for example, for some reason, the Kansas City Chiefs make the Super Bowl. Who do you think is Detroit, is Minnesota, or is Philly a legitimate team to beat them in the Super Bowl?
I feel that yes, all three.
I think Detroit more than any of them.
I think Philly though. I think Philly. I'm gonna be real with
I think
you.
If Saquon gets to the Super Bowl, I think it's a wrap.
Yo, if Saquon gets to that Super Bowl, it's a wrap.
I think that man will run with a torn meniscus if he had to, and then he would retire right after winning.
Let me tell you something. The Chiefs' defense is good against the throw, but not good against the run.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? And the Philly is a ground and pound team.
Yep.
I don't think that the Chiefs have seen that in the Super Bowl. And let us be clear again.
Mm-hmm.
Those Super Bowls were won by one possession.
Yep.
And overtime. Let's not forget that it was sheer talent and will from Mahomes to Kelsey in moments that counted that willed the Chiefs to those Super Bowls. They almost lost to the 49ers.
Should have lost to the 49ers.
Twice.
Mm-hmm.
The game was over in 2020. You let me tell you something. If the Chiefs are winning or are in the lead, they're losing that Super Bowl.
They're gonna make sure they're not, bro. The black.
I don't know, fam. I swear. Let me tell you something. Hold on.
I think before you get to your point, I think if Detroit is a team, let's say Detroit or Philly, more so Detroit. If Detroit is in the lead and they're beating the Chiefs, they're gonna beat the Chiefs. Yeah. Philly, I think they're gonna come back. Philly for sure, they're gonna come back on.
All I know, because both of you are Giants fans. All emotion out of it. Who's the bigger story if they make the Super Bowl? Saquon or Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold.
That's as a fan of New York teams, Sam Darnold, and as a Jet fan, that should be the biggest story for you too.
Interestingly enough,
each Super Bowl was won by a fucking field goal.
Insane, bro.
Except for the first one.
Yeah, I feel like there haven't been many Super Bowls. I think since that Peyton Manning Super Bowl in Jersey when he was with Denver, where he got blown out, I don't think there's been a lot of like really non-competitive Super Bowls since.
Yeah, because I'm sure the commissioner went up to everybody, had a meeting at the beginning of the year. Like, listen, we can't have this shit again. Nobody wanted to watch it. Everybody cut the game off in the first quarter.
I mean, the Eagles beat the Patriots 41-33. That was a high-scoring Super Bowl.
That was.
But I think the Eagles come back in that Super Bowl. So I think the New England was in the lead. And I think that was one of those where it was like, oh, New England's going to win another one. And then Philly stormed back. Wasn't that the annexation play or something?
The Philly special?
I mean, looking at it, it was Eagles to New England in the first quarter 9-3. No, New England came back.
Oh, okay.
That was Tom's game.
Yeah, that New England came back.
I think people would have tuned into that because they would have wanted to see, like, oh, there's no way New England's going to lose. And then.
No, but people was looking because remember, that was the Super Bowl when it was 28-3 the year before with the Falcons and the damn, with the Patriots and the Falcons. And the Falcons is up 28-3. And then next thing you know, after halftime, it's like, what the hell happened? But nevertheless, I digress. The one with the Patriots and the Rams, it was 13-3. 49ers Chiefs was 20-31. That was with the Chiefs scoring 21 points in the fourth quarter.
And there you go.
Nuts.
And then the next one was the Buccaneers blew out the Chiefs 31-9.
Was that the Tom Brady Bucks Super Bowl?
Yes. They blew them out.
Yeah.
And then
that was Mahomes' first one, right? In the second.
Yeah, they had won the year before.
That was the second.
Pat Mahomes was
hurt.
Was hurt that one too.
He was hurt. And then the Rams beat the Bengals by a field goal.
Joe Burrow got hurt in that one.
Yeah, he got hurt in that one. And then the Chiefs beat the Eagles by a field goal, 38-35. and then the 49ers beat the 49ers lost to the Chiefs 22. So that should have been the Lions versus I'll still hold to this. That should have been the Lions versus the Chiefs. I'll hold to that. But the Chiefs are in trouble, bro. Mark my words. The Chiefs are in trouble. These are better teams than what they faced last year. The 49ers were not that great.
No.
And they still took them to deep water.
The Niners defense was better last year than it was this year. And
Well,
this
the
year,
Niners didn't really have a full team. They didn't have a full team this year.
Yeah, McCaffrey's been once again hurt all the time.
Brock Purdy, he's been hurt too. Nick Bosa's hurt.
Yep. And they still almost won that pitiful Western Division had a chance, I think, up to like 2 weeks.
2 weeks ago. Yeah. But you know what, guys? I got to jump.
All right.
Queen, we love you.
Love you too.
Dre, if Detroit or Minnesota win the Super Bowl, I mean, obviously Detroit, it would be their first.
Yeah.
I think for Minnesota, it would be, let me see here. They've played in 3 in 64 years. They've only won 1 title, and that was pre-merger in 1969, because that was before the 1970 AFL-NFL merger. Other than that, they have not won a Super Bowl since then. They have won 4 conference championships, their last one being in 1976, and the last time they won the NFC North was in 2022. Their last playoff appearance was in 2022. But in terms of them going to the Super Bowl, I mean, I think 3rd. Let me see here. See if I can look this up for us. Really quickly here. They've been in 4 Super Bowls. They're 0-4, Minnesota Vikings. 1970, 1974, 1975, and 1977. Only 4 times Minnesota has been in the Super Bowl, and they have lost.
Well, I think, like we said, Detroit has a better chance of beating the Chiefs than any other team does. Especially because Detroit has the firepower to do it, and they have the defense to do it. They can contain the magic, the Mahomes magic that happens towards the end of games. I think they would be better suited to do it better than any other team.
It's going to be very interesting. I think if right now, if I'm looking at the AFC, obviously it'll be Buffalo versus more than likely the Chargers. I think the Buffalo Bills win that. It'll be the Ravens versus the Chargers. I think the Ravens win that. That'll be a battle of the Harbaugh brothers right there.
Yep.
And then if Houston versus Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh wins that. And if that's what it is, it's 1 through 5. It'd be Kansas City and Pittsburgh. And it would be Baltimore and Buffalo in the semis. That will probably determine who plays Kansas City, because I think Kansas City would beat the Steelers, even though I don't know. The Steelers have been sneaky good. I think the Steelers could upset the Chiefs just because I don't think I think, as Tay said, I don't think the Chiefs are as strong as they've been before. But again, it'll more than likely be if Kansas City pulls another one out, it'll be Kansas City versus either Buffalo or Baltimore in the AFC Championship game.
Right.
If we look at the NFC, let's say Detroit beats Minnesota and Detroit wins the division, Tampa Bay wins the South. Detroit and Philly will get the byes. It'll be the Rams versus the Commanders. The Rams versus the Commanders. If the Commanders win, obviously, if the Commanders lose, Green Bay gets into the playoffs. If Green Bay wins, obviously. But let's say they don't. It will be the Rams versus the Commanders. I think the Commanders win that game. It would be Tampa Bay versus Minnesota. I think Minnesota wins that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would be Detroit versus Washington, which I think would be an incredible game, by the way. And the Eagles versus the Vikings. It could very much end up being Detroit and Minnesota again in the NFC Championship game.
Most definitely. But
going to be interesting. It's going to be a very interesting Week 18. I know a lot of the games in Week 18, I mean, are terrible. I mean, I don't think anybody's how many people you think are tuning in to watch Houston versus Tennessee?
Oh, not much.
Or Jacksonville versus Indianapolis?
I can't tell you.
San Francisco, Arizona. Come on now, like, you know, who are watching some of these games? You know, it's. I feel bad for those, those cities that only get those games because they got those blackouts.
Yeah,
I feel bad, like, especially if you're a suffering fan and you're like, I only have to watch this crappy team in a game that doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Before we go, last question for you, Dre. How upset will the Giants fans be if the Giants somehow pull out this victory against let me rephrase that question for you, Dre. What type, where do you land? Are you one of these, I would rather them just lose and get the worst record so we could get the pick? Or are you one of the fans like, I don't care, I want us to win any game we can win. You play hard no matter what.
No, the team sucked this year. Just lose the game, get the pick. We need a quarterback. Let's not fuck this up, y'all. Let's not fuck this up. Like, you know what we have to do. Let Saquon play the game. Don't hurt him. Just let him get his record. If we want to run for 300 yards in the game, let him do it. Like, if the backup quarterback on the Eagles, he wants to have a Peyton Manning type game, let him do it. There's no reason to play extremely hard in this game. And again, I get everybody's professionals on the field, and I get that. But you have a chance to possibly get a generational quarterback, either Shador or I forget the other guy's name, but you have a chance to get.
I'm not sold on Shador.
A lot of people aren't. I'm not completely sold on Shador either. I have to see how he plays outside of playing in prime. Right? So, but we have a chance to see it. Now, does he crumble in front of the bright lights, or does he shine? We have to see. But Giants, just do what you need to do. We need a quarterback anyway, so just play as if we're playing for a quarterback, which means lose. Please and thank you.
Not you saying you want your team to lose. There were a lot of people this week that were I know there was a lot of people that were upset that they beat the Ravens, not the Ravens, the Colts. And then there were a lot of people who were just like, why are you upset? We want them to win. We still want them to win games.
No, just lose, guys. Just do what you need to do and go back to business. Let's just get out. Let's just get this season over with. Call it a day. No need to.
Call it a day. We're done.
Yeah. No
Stick a fork in them. They're done.
Basically.
Hey, listen, if you guys want, you guys could have Aaron Rodgers.
No. Yeah, we've already seen how he plays in New York. It's okay.
Oh man, that has been one. I honestly think Aaron Rodgers as the Jets quarterback, I think ranks almost as high as the both of the failed Big Three experiments in Brooklyn, the Garnett, Pierce, and Ray Allen and Rondo experience.
No. You mean the Garnett? You mean the Garnett, Pierce, Williams, Brook, Lopez, Joe Johnson experience in Brooklyn? That one?
Yeah, but didn't they bring Ray in too for that first year? It was Ray.
No.
They brought all three of them.
No, they didn't.
No. Well,
Rondo got traded to Sacramento. I believe he got traded to Sacramento. He didn't go to Brooklyn. Darren Williams was there in Brooklyn.
okay.
So
Yes, I don't that was
and Ray was on Miami already.
Okay, sorry. I believe that was that was one of the worst failed experiments ever. Obviously, the big three with Kyrie and Harden and Simmons and Durant and that whole mess, that ranks up there tied for first. But I have to think the Aaron Rodgers debacle with the Jets has to either be number 2 or first place in terms of worst experiments.
I agree.
I think Brett Favre was a success, if only because he had 2 decent years and then fell off and got hurt.
That did happen.
It's like, what the hell? Dre, first episode of 2025. A lot going to go on. We're only going to get bigger as the year goes on. All the sports stories are going to be right here on the Yerrr Sports Show. And as we said, so many different satellite shows popping up. We've got our basketball-centric show, our baseball-centric show. We've got Tea Time. We've got a little bit of everything for everybody. But as always, the Yerrr Sports Show going to be the hub, the place where the 4 of us come together as we only the 4 of us can. When it's me, you, Matt, and Tay, and tackling the biggest sports stories. So again, if you're looking for baseball-centric stuff, you're going to want to catch the Dog Days of Baseball podcast when we relaunch back in spring training time into the beginning of the baseball season. If you are a huge just basketball-centric person, you're going to want the Run to Break podcast. If you want if you want a little bit of Real Housewives drama, you're gonna want to tune into Tea Time. And there's a lot of other things coming along. But again, if you want your round table, if you want your Around the Horn meets PTI, meets the sports reporters, meets Inside the NBA, whichever one you want, NBA Countdown, any of it. When you want that, this is where you want to be, the Yerrr Sports Show. As I said, first show of 2025. If you aren't already subscribed, if you aren't already catching on, click that button now. Subscribe now, whether it's on YouTube, catch all on Instagram, on X, on Twitch, catch everything, Spotify, all of the great podcasting networks. Catch it now. Subscribe now. Don't be left behind in 2025. We are going to go places this year that we have been talking about for a very, very long time. For the Queen Tay, for our brother Matt, who is on assignment today, could not make it in for the live show. Dre, who I know, listen, a trooper, feeling under the weather today. I know this man is laid up right now, and yet 100% still here with us, still invested. This is what we're talking about. Does not matter. We're here for y'all. I am the voice of a generation, Pete Rosado. Until next time, the Yerrr Sports Show. Yerrr!
Yerrr!